So what's the story?
Okay, so this is probably a week or two into into our move to New Orleans, right when we just got there. Before we got in touch with the Jewish community there at all, we were still just trying to get set up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how when you move to a new city, like each city has its own type of shadiness that you're not used to.
Yeah.
Like if people went to Brooklyn, Coney Island Avenue and Avenue U, there's a level of shadiness there that if you're not from there,
you're not used to it. You don't know what's going on.
Right. And now New Orleans is shady as all F.
Yeah.
Okay? Even in the good neighborhood. I didn't even realize I was living in the good neighborhood. It took me a while of living in that. By the way, I've gotten that. This is just a gorgeous neighborhood, and I miss it. It's uptown. And, but everything looks old and creepy. It's charming, but at night it's old and creepy.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's a lot of scary monster movies that are set in New Orleans. And
because of the what is it called, the voodoo stuff and all that stuff,
the voodoo and the vampires and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, and there's some twisted stuff over there. Okay, they have a voodoo museum for gosh darn sake.
Have you been in it? I wouldn't go in there.
I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I asked the rabbi. I was like, the Chabad Shliach. I'm like, Rabbi. I mean, isn't it kind of weird this place? He goes, just waves his hand, just dismisses it. Out of hand, nothing. It's just, it is nothing, but it's just creepy. That's all. Anyway, what freaks me out? Like you ever see that movie? Was it 007 with Roger Moore, where he ends up not in Jamaica, but it's an island. It's a Caribbean island where he's fighting that the bad guy is Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah.
You know that actor?
I didn't see all of them.
Yaphet Kotto is a black Jew.
Yaphet, yeah.
Right, so he plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
And there's this, and they have these voodoo rituals where they scare they have that really tall dude.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of that actor, and he wears this terrifying top hat, and he wears the skeleton makeup.
Are you talking about Random Task or something like that? One of those Random Task guys?
No. This guy, I wish I could. I forgot his name, but
this guy. Yeah.
He's giant. He's just a giant dude.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on.
But he's not a regular giant dude. He's like.
Hold on. Yeah, I see there's a Guardian. They had a whole article about it. 1 second. Oh my god!
He was
scroll down to what his name was.
The only other place I remember seeing him was in.
His name is Trinidadian actor Jeffrey Holder as Baron Samedi in Live and Let Die.
Yes, Baron Samedi, exactly. That guy freaks me out, man. Okay, when I saw that, just this giant dude with skeleton makeup and a top hat. You kidding me? Anyway, so
how tall? I wonder how tall is this guy? I wonder that in real life.
He's probably He's probably 7 footer, something like that.
Let's see, Jeffrey Holder. Oh, this guy. Yeah, he played.
He was a boomerang.
He played. You know where this guy played? Oh, he passed away in 2014. He played in where did I see him play? In a movie called he was in Boomerang. He played the
designer.
He designed it. He imitated because he's based on a real guy.
Right, he's a pervy designer or something.
Yeah. This gay whatever guy. I was like, what? I'm looking at this guy. The older version, but this guy is very tall. He's
he looks like RuPaul's
dad or something, brother.
Right, like inspiration.
Yeah.
If not relative, then inspiration.
That's very funny. Yeah. Actually, can I play you? Yeah, he's 6'6". I mean, for an NBA guy, he's pretty normal, but for normal people, he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Here, I'll play you the Boomerang scene that he's in. He's here. Afterbirth, Estranger.
Yeah. No, I know you don't want to play that, bro.
No, I won't play that. But there's here. Hold on.
This Black Friday.
Hold on. I want to get the character that he is. Hold on.
Just get him. Just you want to hear like as soon as people hear his laugh, they know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. He's like,
I've recut the kissable spot.
Yeah.
Oh, you recut it, but is it sexy? Is it sexy?
Yeah.
It is sexy.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
He's very excited about life.
Do you know who he's depicting? He's depicting this guy. Oh my god. It's so 80s, man. Or 1992. It's not even 80s. Early 90s. What?
That's 90s.
Yeah. It's like 92. I remember they had. I love that scene where they go into the store, him and Martin Lawrence and David Allen Greer, and then they won't help him, and then Martin Lawrence is like, "You see, this like because the black man or whatever it is." He starts going with this whole like racial tirade because they want to help.
No, I think even in that movie, they were like rolling their eyes at him. They're like, "Oh man, shut up."
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, you freaking militant, whatever you are. Yeah, here, this is the. There's a pool scene. There's the whole thing. He's giving them like the whole like, political. Yeah, here you go. Racist store clerk.
She's amazing. She has pretty feet, this girl. Oh yeah, how's the cooch?
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, by the way, can I make a public service announcement?
Yeah.
For our listeners, Alex and Mace.
Yeah. Two people.
Yeah. So we might be referencing movies, right? But definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely don't want you to look it up or reference it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we grew up, before we knew any better, we were just watching whatever was on cable, right, or whatever, and it didn't seem strange. And later on, we learned that a lot of the things that we saw were extremely negative, right?
Yeah.
So each movie or each thing that is, inappropriate or however you want to say it, that's not ideal.
Not sneeze, whatever,
Not ideal, not something that, God would want you to watch. Yeah. But for some reason, we were flung into that situation. So I compare it to a black hole or an event horizon, right?
Yeah.
Like we were born in the black hole, essentially.
Yeah.
And somehow, nothing escapes a black hole. Nothing.
Yeah.
But somehow we were pulled out of it.
Yeah.
And we bring information from the pits of the event horizon. Looking up those things, like we're not trying to send you to the black hole.
Yeah. We're just using it as a reference point for what we're trying to convey for Torah purposes, whatever.
Yeah, we got sucked into it and we crawled out somehow.
With that said, today is Yud Tes Kislev, the Rosh, the birthday Rosh Hashanah of Hasidus.
Yep.
And I just want to raise a glass. I got my Evan Williams Kentucky straight bourbon. What do you have in your hand?
I got my I got my Holy Glenmorangie.
Oh, that's way better. The first, dude, I just want to tell you, the first time I had like a crazy month trading. I mean, I had a few crazy months. This is like my best month ever. I went out and I bought myself like I think it was like an $80 bottle of Glenmorangie port cask, which obviously is not kosher because it's port cask.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was in 2008. So anyway, l'chaim, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dbaro.
Amen. L'chaim,
Oh man. So I'm gonna continue playing. I want to continue playing this.
Oh man, that is great. That is really, really great. Yeah. I love it. I love Glenmorangie.
Is it peaty, smoky, like or more?
It's sweet.
Oh, it is nice.
That would be, I guess, more peaty then, right?
No, peaty and smoky are the synonymous terms. So sweet would be kind of on the other side of the spectrum there.
I can pretend to say some terms as if I understand stuff. Like
it's
a Highland.
I just copy my business partner. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
It's a Highland Lowland.
Exactly. Islay, Schmislay. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's a Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. Exactly. It's a Floyd Mayweather.
No, Conor O'Neill.
Is it Floyd Mayweather? Yeah. Anyway.
No, what was Highlander's name? Even though he was played by some French dude, playing a Scottish guy, weird enough, but his character's name was Connor McSomething.
It was Russell, directed by stars Christopher Lambert. Oh, the character itself, Connor McLeod.
McLeod, of course, McLeod.
Yeah, born into the Scottish Highlands, fatal wound, and he goes through time.
Of course, I was just because we were talking about Snatch the other day, right?
We were talking about what?
Remember when we were talking about Snatch the other day? Remember the movie? I remember like Brick Top, and Turkey's like, of course. He's like, of course, effing of course.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know why that popped into my head. Anyway,
I want to play this clip of Martin Lawrence talking about the racist story here.
Oh my God.
He won't serve them.
I'm a realist, right? If the coochie's good, everything else falls into place.
Gosh.
It's more than sex with this girl. I dig her, her spirit and her mind and everything. She's bad. She could be Miss Grant. Oh, yeah? You think I'm joking? She's that bad, man. Marcus isn't allowed. Yo, I'm getting this, Marcus. Step off.
That jacket is $1,800. No refund.
What you think I can't pay for it?
Well, there is no layaway plan.
Hey, we're okay.
I don't need the help. We don't keep cash in the store.
Sucker, man. Don't even trip on that. Racial. Yeah, you right, man. Don't even trip on that. No refund? I mean, what's you think you're going to take the jacket, wear it, stank it all up to be damned, and then, give it back to him? We can't get over this.
He's like, can't get over this. You can't get over this.
Program. Watch.
He scared the crap out of him.
Screaming now. He thought it was the end of the war.
He startled the guy.
What a schmuck Martin Lawrence is. Can I tell you something? I'm fed up. I'm so fed up with that shit. Even from back then.
I know.
He's
that was
the
beginning of it.
He brought it back.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you what the hell I'm talking about, okay? He should have heard of focus groups. He should have hired a focus group to find out if there's actual racism.
Yeah.
And here's why we didn't have racism in the 80s. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Yeah.
You could roll your eyes. You could snap your whatever, snap your neck.
Yeah.
Go fall down the flight of stairs and snap everything. Okay? So here's why I know there was no racism. Because I wasn't that different. I was pretty average as a kid, right? Here are my heroes growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
So can I tell you what the people like a devil's advocate answer to what people would say to you if you said that?
I don't give a damn.
I know,
care.
I'm not even
arguing.
I know, but the answer is, well, you're just using people. It's like they say, that you like those black guys, but you don't like the other black guys. It's like you're just using people you like as the the token blacks that you like of entertainment to entertain you as a clown and a circus performer or whatever it is. As long as they're over there entertaining you, you like those blacks.
I don't understand. I never felt myself to be like some kind of Roman lord who was just being entertained by jesters. I was looking up to these guys. I thought they were cool. I was a kid.
For sure. Dude, the reason I even got up on stage the 3 times in my life, or 3.5, let's say, times that I did, is because of Eddie Murphy, man. It's because of him.
Dude, I went to see Eddie Murphy Raw when I was 8. I don't know how they even let me in there.
You were there in the studio? In the thing?
No. I went in the theaters.
The movie. You went to see? Okay.
No, because it premiered in theaters.
Wow.
It didn't go from the stage to.
So you just it was probably Brooklyn, so they didn't care. They didn't care about R-rated. You can walk into R-rated movies in Brooklyn.
That's true. They did not give a damn about things.
You could sneak in I remember this was back in the day. You sneak in all kinds of popcorn. I used to be I looked like an obese person walking through the thing with all my chips and my jacket and my cans of soda and Pepsis and.
Dude, we sneaked into the movie theaters so often.
Yeah. I paid for the ticket. I just sneaked food in there. It was great.
No, we just all out just snuck in. Got in there for free.
Yeah.
And so basically, you know what I mean? Those I didn't have The reason to me, I don't give a damn. I'm not arguing with anybody. I could not care less what people think. Like I don't care if people think I'm a racist. But to myself, I know I'm not.
Yeah.
Because if I was, I wouldn't be able to look at these guys as if they were like heroes.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, I would have been like, wow, look at that guy. That's so cool. Well, excuse me, I forgot to mention Bill Cosby, who basically raised me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And I don't give a damn what they say about him either.
Yeah.
F all y'all.
Dude, you know how I know these guys are BS artists, all these people that are now saying the things that they're saying? And Chris Rock is the biggest BS artist of them all. The biggest BS artist. Because he himself, 20 years ago, had a skit, a 6-minute clip of one of his things called Ends versus Black People.
Yeah.
It's a very funny skit. And then at some point he goes, you know, he's talking about how like black people complain about media and this and they're tarnishing our image. And then he goes, when I go to the ATM at night, I'm not looking for the media. I'm looking for...
Right.
He said that 20 years ago, and you could say, well, he's black. He's not saying anything like that. If he said that today, he'd be like, they would shoot him with I don't know what, a freaking 50 cal from a...
Well, that's probably why he's not saying anything, because, you know, whatever, man. These guys they're finished. Like it's all, you understand? It's all, look, it revealed itself to be what it is. Like, I don't know how conscious they were of it in the 80s, but it became a CIA operation or whatever the hell. Not CIA.
Yeah,
but
some psyop. It became a psyop at some point.
Okay, like, you know, it's hard to know whether or not the CIA even started. You know, when did they start using Hollywood as, you know, as a propaganda tool?
Yeah. I don't think it's not a question of when. It's a question of when were they doing it and when were they not. You know, I think they were on and off. They flip a switch on and off to their will.
I'd say in the 50s. I'd say in the 50s it really kicked into high gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm sure they had like waves, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you had like different kind of factions inside, sometimes letting up, sometimes, you know, getting really...
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, one day it's going to come out, like the inter-government wars, like the civil wars going on within these departments.
Oh, for sure. There is I mean, there's not even intergovernment. There's a war, you know, that Durham guy. It's him and a couple of people versus the entire department that he's in, and he's fighting to release documents, you know, that he was trying to release when Trump was the president, and there's an internal battle. There's a, you know, this is like Rome all over again.
Yeah.
But speaking of,
just before we move too far away from the racism thing, I want you to know that when I was a kid, there was a positive message when Reagan was president.
Yeah.
Black dudes were positive.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Mike Tyson was positive.
Yeah. Even I was positive. Even though I was.
I mean, he was positive. Right, he was positive while Customato was alive, and then things kind of went to hell. But he's better now, I think.
Yeah, no, now he did his true.
He's mellowed out. He's all zen now, like Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Eddie Murphy's too zen.
Dude, the funniest thing is when he taught.
He zen himself out of being funny.
Eddie Murphy, he's like, I'm not a social. No, he actually is funny. You should see him. His latest skit that he did when he got the Mark Twain Award a couple of years ago. And he just went into Bill Cosby, but it wasn't so much to go into Bill Cosby; it was just to do the impression, which was very, very, very funny.
You know, you're right. Because I saw him a few years ago. I mean, I guess this was like mad long ago now, like 7-8 years ago. Yeah. He was on inside the Actors Studio.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Right.
Yeah, James.
By the way, one of Will Ferrell's best, like, you know, and so he was saying like. He was doing an impression of Charlie. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, I remember when we were kids, me and my brother Charlie, like my mom left us with Mrs. Johnson, right?
Yeah, Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson was so...
She was mean. She didn't like her. And my brother Charlie, he goes, man, if I see Miss Johnson, I'm going to punch her in the face.
If I see Miss Johnson, I'm going to punch her in the face, yeah. She's a mean bitch. I'm going to punch her in the face, Miss Johnson.
Yeah, that was funny.
This is before Wesley Snipes. We were the blackest guys in America before Wesley Snipes. He's like, I had to whip it. This is the ebb and flow of our relationship. I had to whip his ass. He get out of charge. What is his name? Rick James. He get out of line and had to whip his ass. The ebb and flow of our relationship.
That's your couch.
I got out of the Navy, you know what I'm saying? Had the Jericho. He's like, and he had this Unity ring, you know. He's like, it's like I had this commemorate this song called Unity. He's like, I imprinted it on that black head of his. Unity. Anyway.
Yo, man, your impressions are like they're not bad. Actually,
yeah, I'm not bad with that. By the way, speaking of which, you want to hear? I think I sent this to you. Jim Brewer came out, I guess, a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I saw it.
And yeah, I want to play this for people, talking about everything that's going on in the media and how they're basically washing everybody's brain and like circuses. So I want to. It's like a 2-minute clip. I want people to hear this.
Can you give me like 3 minutes?
Sure.
Because we covered some important points here.
Yeah.
We're trying to get organized.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, God pulled us out of the black hole that He threw us into in the first place, and we bring you information from the pits of the black hole.
Yeah.
Don't go into the black hole. We already got, we came out of there for you. Don't revisit these movies, these ideas. We're trying to elevate these sparks.
We did what is it? We do the work so you don't have to, kind of deal.
We did the work. I'm not,
We're like Roto Rooter.
We're like right. Okay. And second of all, the 80s, when I was growing up, the racism was dead. We all liked black guys, not sexually. We looked up to them like they were cool. All right. And there was no issue with it whatsoever. We didn't feel funny about it. And nobody knew anything when Reagan was president. It was a positive thing. And then the 90s, these Democrat fuckers brought it back. Yeah. Just letting you know. Okay? I think we could. Oh, yeah. And don't forget, I have to tell you my amazing New Orleans story about the bottle of scotch that I'm drinking right now.
I'm looking forward.
All right. Now go ahead and play the clip.
All right.
I think it's relevant.
Yeah.
I was in Omaha, Nebraska tomorrow night. And are you enjoying the great distraction circus, are you? Wow, what a show. Let's talk about this Rittenhouse kid today. Well, clearly he's an American hero. What are you, some kind of animal? He murdered people.
You need to see his face.
Self-defense. Self-defense, he should have never been there anyway. What's a 16-year-old doing with a gun? Well, he was trying to defend some real people. Did you see the people he actually killed? They were monsters. I never knew it. If anything, I think we should take guns away. If anything, I think he's the right reason why we need more guns. Sire, our plan is working geniusly as it has for centuries. They just keep dividing and we keep conquering as they're more distracted. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a liar. How dare he lie? Why can't he be a teammate? Just get vaccinated. I think it's actually a choice. You should have a choice if you want to or do a double choice or a for the means of other people, of course. Oh, please, give me enough of that kind. Oh, we're saying people haven't died. Is that what you're saying? I'm saying that Aaron Rodgers should be taking horse pills and taking advice from Joe Rogan, who's not a doctor. It's misinformation, and my information is the information. The great divide and conquer, sire. They will never unite. Plans been working for centuries. Or are they starting to catch on, and we will unite eventually? Turn the circus off, or at least know you're watching one.
So you hear every so often the British accent of the people who are plotting to divide and conquer. He's implying that this whole I guess trajectory of dividing and conquering began in England. He's like, we've been doing this for centuries. The question is, in which century did this begin? This stuff. We're talking about the Middle Ages.
No, man, it goes way, way back, way further back than that.
This is like Gaelic, the Gaelics.
Way further back. Way further back. As always, this goes straight back to the one and only event that ever happened. Here's what people don't understand. There's only one event that ever happened. It's called the tree.
Yeah.
There's Adam. There's Eve. The serpent. Those are the only actors. The names change. The costumes change. The angles of view of the event change.
Yeah.
And we get to see slices of it from different angles every generation. It's always the same exact.
But in terms of event. America, when do you think? I mean, these things happen like you're talking like British common law development.
No, I'm talking about the tree.
That I get. I'm just, I mean,
you want to see where it's rooted?
Yeah.
In that story?
Please, yeah.
So divide and conquer. That's the Nachash.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What did he want to do? By the way, I learned I was actually watching Rabbi Anava video.
Mm-hmm.
He was explaining the Nachash was a female.
I mean, it stood upright, so some people say it was a male, and it stood upright.
No. The Nachash was a walking, talking, intelligent humanoid entity that looked human.
Interesting.
You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell it.
Yeah.
Look, the animals from the Garden of Eden, okay?
Yeah.
These were hyperdimensional consciousnesses that were so intelligent beyond they're infinitely higher in intelligence than we are now. There was a major downgrade in consciousness.
You want to know something interesting? I'm noticing more and more that there's keep seeing all these videos how there's people that are able to train animals that are otherwise would eat them, like lions, tigers, all this kind of stuff. And every once in a while they do try to eat them, but it's like we've figured out how to tame these animals. There's people living with tigers, bears, and they're just, these animals are just hanging out. They're not attacking people. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I mean, people have been working with animals for a long time. It just for instance, there's a guy, a lion whisperer. He has a YouTube channel, South African dude.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hyenas. Mm-hmm. Leopards.
Dude, there's a Russian couple. Granted, they'd raised it since the baby. Puma.
Yeah.
A puma, and this animal would otherwise eat you to shreds,
It looks like an oversized house cat.
Yeah, that's all it is. Very sweet, cute, oversized house cat.
That's what a tiger is. Tiger is a really oversized house cat.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cat that has the same.
Dude, our cat. It's almost like somebody took our cat and they took a machine that shrinks cats and shrunk. They took a tiger and shrunk it. And
that's what I'm saying.
That's our cat.
I have a tabby. It has the same shape head as a tabby. It's hilarious.
Yeah, everything. The patterns, the way he walks, everything.
Dude, do you know how big a tiger is when it's standing upright?
Yeah.
It's 11 feet tall.
Huge.
That thing is gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so in the Garden of Eden, which by the way is an interdimensional vortex where all the dimensions converge from the entire multiverse. I didn't know if you guys knew that, but that's what Gun Angel is.
It's interesting that we have this whole multiverse stuff going on.
The multiverse just means that there's infinite amount of universes, spiritual, probably physical as well, and they all converged, and they united, they linked at the garden. The garden was this vortex that connected all of these worlds and all these universes. You could look at it as one big, you could look at it as a multiverse or just one big complicated universe. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay, but so basically the Nachash, and you can even ask Rabbi Weisberg. I've heard him say this.
Yeah.
It was you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. Everything looked humanoid. Everything looked human.
Yeah.
Okay, so the real difference between what's an animal and what is a human is the type of neshama, the type of consciousness the creature has. Okay, it's not necessarily just the external shell.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, turns out it's possible. Now I need to confirm this. I need to, but it's possible that the Nachash that we're talking about is Lilith. One and the same.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that.
Which is, by the way, apparently Adam's first wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to use that term.
Loosely, well, no, I mean that's essentially it was used. It's discussed in Midrashim. We could have like a whole discussion about it. But anyway, so the soul of the Nachash, meaning like how like within the human construct you have Zeranpin and Nukva. Mm-hmm. So the Nachash was the Nukva to the Zeranpin of Samach Mem. That's what Anava said. I heard him say that. I was like, whoa, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Female of Zeran. Yeah, I'm just reading what the Nukva is. That there's an actual definition on Wikipedia, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Yeah, Zeranpin is the emotional Sefirot center in Tiferes. Is a transcendent revelation of God to creation. A perceptible manifestation of the essential divine infinity, the tetragrammaton name of Hashem. Nukva, the female of Zeranpin, is an indwelling, immanent Shechina, feminine divine presence within creation, the concealed divine finitude named Elokim. In medieval Kabbalah, the sin of Adam, as well as later sin, introduces apparent separation between the two, perceived from creation between the two, bringing exile and construction on high. The task of man is restoring union, yichud, to the male and female divine manifestations. This is the origin of the Kabbalistic prayer formula recited before performing a Jewish observance. Within the tetragrammaton, the first two letters signify concealed world / upper unity with Hashem, and the latter two signify created world unity. Yeah, so l'shem yichud, for the sake of union of holy l'shem yichud kushabrichu. And Shechina, to unite the name Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei, perfect union, name of all of Israel. That's what we say. In Lurianic Kabbalah, the origin of this harmony in the Sefirot is located earlier in the primordial realm of Tohu, before the creation of man, though later sin brings further exile. The task of man, while also affecting male-female union on high, involves messianic redemption of the exiled sparks of holiness, birur, which is actually what's happening now, from Tohu that are scattered within physical existence. Birur becomes the inner dimension of Yichud. Each indwelling spark is relatively female in relation to the person who redeems it from captivity. The collectivity of all sparks, similar to the collective people of Israel, also comprises the exiled Shechina, awaiting raising up to God. Interesting.
Okay, so So I just wanted to point something out at this point. People may have seen diagrams of the tree of life, the Sefirot, right? Mm-hmm. So, but there's a couple of different diagrams, and people are confusing them, and it's a bad thing. So I think we can clear it up. Mm-hmm. So you have the system of the Sefirot, so God organized the world, okay, and the other side, the Sitra Achra, has a set of Sefirot that correspond to the good side. Mm-hmm. There's always some corresponding construct on the side of evil, to whatever you find in the side of good. Okay, so on the good side, we can call it Olam HaTikun, right? We've mentioned that before. Yeah. So you have Keter, crown. This corresponds to the body. So the Keter is the crown that sits on the head. Okay, then you have the right brain. That's Chachma, wisdom. You have the left brain. That's Bina, understanding. You have Da'at, which is a semisphere. That's projection from Keter. Moving on, we have on the right side, the right arm, you have Chesed, loving kindness. And on the left side, you have Gevura, strict judgment, discipline, form, severity. And in the middle, joining them, you have Tiferet, okay, which is the second junction in the central column. Okay. Then also connected to Tiferet, which you can look at as the heart or the torso, is the right leg, Netzach, the left leg, Hod. Then you have Yesod, which is called foundation, and it corresponds to the reproductive area of a human being, both men and women. Okay? All right. And then, of course, you have Malchut.
Yeah.
Malchut represents the finished product. Everything that's going on before Malchut is all about processing something and delivering it to Malchut through Yesod.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's only one pathway from the upper Sephirotic chart to the final sphere of Malchut, and that is through the Yesod. One pathway, one conduit. Okay, and that represents the monogamous relationship between husband and wife. Okay, now when you look at the other, there's another version of the Sephirotic chart which is connected to Sitra Achra, where it's a similar process, but you have when you get to the bottom of it, you see a connection from Yesod to Malchut, but you also see a connection from Netzach to Malchut and from Hod to Malchut. So, she's having some kind of, she's having a three-way, a four-way, basically. That is the arrangement of not good. That's not the ideal. Okay, that's more related to what we were talking about before, the other side. So people need to be aware and realize that not every Sephirotic chart means the same thing. You have to learn how to understand what you're looking at.
Yeah.
You can get screwed up. Anyway, so so we were talking about what's going on in the garden, right? But whatever's going on now is just a reflection and echo of what's going on, what happened in the garden. Yeah. The situation in the garden is an ongoing thing. People think it happened a long time ago. Yeah. But it's not. It's just we're getting like little slices of it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how we're experiencing it. So the whole thing, whoever you were talking about divide and conquer, the globalists, the Build-A-Bears, all these clowns, all these goofy losers that their days are numbered.
What's his name? Santa Claus, Cotton Swab.
Cotton Swab.
Santa Claus, Cotton Swab.
Yeah. All these guys, their days are numbered because evil has a purpose, and it's not gonna continue forever. Its purpose is to create choices for us to have a willing relationship with God. So in order to make the choice to do what God wants, you need to have choices. Yeah. So that's the job. That's what evil facilitates. But it's not going to go on forever. It's just a couple of we're right there at the end of the day. Anyway, so everything goes back to the garden. Okay, and so that's what's going on.
So what's next?
What's next?
When do we have? Because Jim Brewer mentioned in that video at the end, he's like, well, at some point we will unite. So what is going to be the catalyst for that? Because right now it seems like, barring, there's a guy I know who does, he was doing shidduchim, dating meetup groups for people who are not smaxed. And now he just today announced that he just added shidduchim for people who are smaxed. Because why? Because there's people that are approaching him, as enough critical mass people that approached him who are smaxed in the Jewish world, and they're like, hey, what the heck? You're doing shidduchim and you're a man. I guess they want a man doing his shidduchim as opposed to a woman, or whatever. Also, and I guess some of them are just like regrettables, what I call the regrettables. And so today he announced, I do shidduchim both for non-smaxed and for smaxed. So, barring that whole announcement, where do you see, or when do you see us having any kind of semblance of unity? And to realize that all that's happening is that the people who are telling us what to do are purposely dividing us according to some stupid, over this thing that doesn't help us at all. And when are we going to realize that, wait a minute, stop slap fighting with each other and just turn to to the side and to the people who are doing this and unite against them?
So I don't know. I don't know, but I think that whoever was trying to do this, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to see if they can scare most people into getting the schmacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then those who were resisting, they would end up getting butchered by the schmacks people.
But it's obviously not going to happen because at least in America.
No, I know. This is the original plan, I think. Yeah. And then the schmacks people were just going to die off, so just take care of itself. The whole everybody just kill everybody. Yeah. You get everybody to do the job you want it to do.
Yeah. Play the role that you want them to.
Right. So it didn't work out. Not enough people. It didn't get to critical enough mass for that to begin taking place.
Yeah.
And they probably were sloppy with the way they distributed the schmacks because basically it's probably, this is just speculation, but it would make sense that obviously they're not going to release the schmacks all at the same time. They're going to release it in a staggered fashion. They're going to give some, and then to a lot of others they're going to give placebo.
Yeah.
Why? Because then you could say, oh look, nothing happened to me. Everybody in my office, they're fine. There's only one guy. Okay, so it's one guy out there somewhere.
Can I quickly read something to you? A friend of mine sent me today. It's actually a video of a nurse in Slovenia. Slovenia is obviously one of the former, satellite nations of Yugoslavia, but now it's obviously its own country.
First lady's from Slovenia.
Yes, correct. So here it says, actually, so she's from Slovenia? Melania?
Yeah.
I thought she was from Slovakia, like Czech. Oh, Slovenia. Wow. Okay, there you go. See, it says scandal in Slovenia. Yesterday, this is a Google Translate from Slovenian. Yesterday in Slovenia, a big scandal broke out, and today the whole of Slovenia is talking about a big smaccination. The head nurse of the University Medical Center, a clinical center in Ljubljana, that's the capital, which takes care of receiving the bottles and manages everything, resigned, went out in front of the cameras and took out bottles with liquid inside. She showed people the codes on the bottles, where each contains 1, 2, or 3 digits in the code, and then explained the meaning of these numbers. Number 1 is placebo saline / saline. Number 2 is a classic bottle of just shmem and number 3 is a shmem that contains the oncogene linked to the adenovirus that contributes to the development of cancer. For these bottles, number 3 says that people who receive it within 2 years will have soft tissue cancer. He says he personally witnessed the sting of all the politicians and tycoons and everyone. The jab received the number 1, the saline, the number 1 jab. Then they receive the saline solution, a placebo. This explains why the same character, the same person, is stabbing all the politicians when they take pictures for the media, the videos. Yeah. So
basically, that's the people would say, look, not everybody, it doesn't look like everybody's getting hit, so they're releasing it in waves. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so the people who got the saline and they think that they are schmaxed and protected, really they got nothing going on. Really,
in fact, probably natural immunity is what they got going on.
They probably have actual immunity just because they encountered COVID and they're young and they're not in the high risk group. Okay, so that's how. And they think, look, I feel great and I'm protected, and now we can turn on those evil, anti-schmaxers, right? Yeah. So this was their plan, but they got sloppy, and too many people died too quickly. Did you see that list that I sent you, by the way?
The list of.
If you look at the WhatsApp.
You sent me a list of things. When did you send it to me?
I sent it, I think, last night.
Oh yeah, all these athletes. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a video of this, but this is more extensive. That list. Yeah, we should look at the athletes. We should look at the top, the healthiest people on the planet. Top athletes.
So we could read it, but let's just see how many, like just in this list alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
People under
9, 10, 11.
It's crazy.
12.
There's a long
14,
list.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. There's 200 names on this list.
200?
And most of them are soccer players.
So these are American.
No,
actually,
they're mostly soccer players.
Yes.
Luxembourg.
Yes. Yes. No, there's American football and then there's soccer.
There's a couple of American football, but most of them are footballers.
Yeah. Soccer, ice hockey player, 19 years old. I'm just scanning through.
And this is just a sample. This is just a sliver of what's actually going on.
Yeah. 37-year-old ex-NFL player.
People are dropping dead.
What makes me sad, hold on a second. Oh, goodness. The 25-year-old Kingsley Coman, he's a very famous, he's from France, but he plays for Bayern Munich. Hey, he had an operation on the heart after arrhythmia, 25-year-old guy. He's like one of the top players in the world, man. He's like one of the famous players.
Let's read, should we take the time to read these names to make it real?
I'll read it. Here. It says, don't let them tell you this is normal. 33-year-old pro dancer Santo Giuliano suffers heart attack 5 days after. Okay. 32-year-old.
5 years after.
What's that?
By the way, see how it says 5 days after jab, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not counted as vaccine.
I know.
You're only vaccinated if if it happens 2 weeks after.
Yeah. So check this out. 32-year-old Olympic tennis player. By the way, this guy Joachim Gerard, he's a wheelchair tennis player. He's already like whatever. Collapses during match with heart problems. Yeah, I'm looking these up, by the way, as I'm reading them. So he's hospitalized at Paralympics with suspected cardiac issue. September 2nd. Belgian guy. 19-year-old football player Jalen Levy dies at campus after the game. 23-year-old baseball player Daniel Brito suffers stroke during the game. 19-year-old football player Terrell Williams dies following on-field collapse. 21-year-old football player Okafor Kelechi dies during training. 29-year-old football player Lee Moses dies during training. 15-year-old footballer like soccer Steven Sylvester collapses and dies during conditioning practice. 18-year-old football player Emmanuel Antwi dies after collapsing on the field. 13-year-old football player Kaitan Chinoyelum Nosifor dies during practice. 15-year-old soccer player Moira Claire Arnie died during practice. Junior high school baseball pitcher. Junior high school baseball pitcher Andrew Roseman died suddenly and unexpectedly. No further information given. 17-year-old footballer Nicholas Laurinas died suddenly and unexpectedly. Cause given by media unclear. 17-year-old footballer Miguel Lugo collapsed and died during practice. 16-year-old football player Devin Duhart mysteriously died in July 2021. 16-year-old footballer Ivan Hicks dies of cardiovascular disease during scrimmage. 19-year-old footballer. What's that noise, man? Background.
Oh, that's a cat.
Oh, okay. 19-year-old footballer Joe Bradshaw dies mysteriously off campus. No conclusion of death. 16-year-old football player Drake Geiger collapses and dies. Okay. 15-year-old football player Joshua Ivory. 19-year-old football player Quandarius Wilburn collapses and later dies. 17-year-old Dimitri McKee passes out and dies. 28-year-old rugby player Tavita Bryce collapses during the game from heart attack. 29-year-old rugby player Dave Hyde collapses and dies after match. By the way, I want to insert 29-year-old Christian Eriksen of Denmark, soccer player, collapsed. He's alive during the first game of the European soccer tournament. 27-year-old baseball player Yusuke Kinoshita collapses and dies during practice. 32-year-old champion speed skater Kjell Nuis, I guess Dutch or Norwegian, suffered pericarditis after the thing. 24-year-old Olympic cyclist Olivia Podmore dies suddenly and mysteriously in her room. And during that week, another athlete, sprinter Cameron Burrell, also dies mysteriously. 23-year-old China Olympics champion Gilbert Quemoy collapsed in his home and died on the way to the hospital. 37-year-old former French professional footballer Frank Verrier died. German goalkeeping coach of SV Niederporing suffers heart attack. 24-year-old Bordeaux pro Samuel Kalou suffers cardiac arrest. I know, I've heard the name. 25-year-old Belgian soccer player Gente van Genechten suffers cardiac arrest. 31-year-old Fabrice Nsakala Besiktas Istanbul soccer team in Turkey collapsed on the field. 29-year-old Pedro Obiang, Italian First Division, has myocardial arrest. 30-year-old Venezuelan national marathon champion Alexaida Guedes dead. 29 years old Jose dos Reis, Luxembourg, collapsed on the field and has to be resuscitated. German C League Dillenberg, a player from Herzenheim, collapses. The game is cancelled. 16-year-old Diego Perchard from ASPTT, it's a French team, Cayenne, suffers a cardiac arrest. Austrian player of ASV Baden collapses on the field and has to be revived. 16-year-old unnamed footballer player in Bergamo, Italy, suffers cardiac arrest. 27-year-old Belgian amateur soccer player Jens de Smet dead. 13-year-old soccer player from Janus Nova Club collapses on the field with cardiac arrest. 17-year-old soccer player Dylan Rich dies of double heart attack during the game.
17 years old.
This is unheard of. Player from Birati Club Munster suffers cardiac arrest. 24 years old Lucas Surek from BFC Chemie Leipzig, Germany, suffers from myocarditis. 49-year-old Ain France Frederick Lartilot succumbs to heart attack in locker room. 45 years old Andrea Astolfi, sporting director of Calcio Orsago, Italy, dead with no previous illnesses. 22-year-old Abu Ali collapses with cardiac arrest during a tier 2 game in Denmark. 19-year-old ice hockey player Sebastian Boss, dead, passed away suddenly. 40-year-old half-marathon runner collapsed during a race and died a little later. Germany, Anil Unsta from VfB Schwelm, it's a German team probably, breaks on the field with heart problems. 33-year-old Dimitri Linard, FC Strasbourg, I think it's France, collapses with heart problems. 37-year-old ex-NFL professional Harris Harrelson dies suddenly and unexpectedly. 25-year-old Kingsley Coman, very famous guy from Bayern Munich, operation on the heart after arrhythmia. 25-year-old Canadian University football player Francis Perron, dead shortly after a match. 19-year-old FC Nantes, that's a top team in France, soccer player suffers cardiac arrest during training. Germany volleyball trainer Dirk Splitsteser from SG Tractor Divitz collapses dead on the sidelines. Austria, 64-year-old former goalkeeper Ernst Scher, dead suddenly and unexpectedly. Germany, 42-year-old Alexander Siegfried, dead suddenly and unexpectedly. 17-year-old athlete from Colverde collapses while training with cardiac arrest. France, 49-year-old SC Masai, player died of heart attack during the game. Mexico, Caddy Alberto Guin collapses on the golf course after a heart attack. And golf is not even that active of a sport. 29-year-old Shrewsbury, this is England, striker Ryan Bowman treated with defibrillator during a play with extreme heart problems. Italy, 18-year-old soccer player suddenly faints on the field. France, 40-year-old St. James player suffered heart attack after warming up. Italy, 59-year-old long-distance runner from Biella dies of heart failure during a race. Germany, women's league match. A player collapses shortly before the end without any opposing influence. 25-year-old German goalkeeper Lucas Bommer dies suddenly and unexpectedly. Mexico, 16-year-old student Hector Manuel Mendoza dies of a heart attack while training. Brazil, 18-year-old soccer player Felipe de Jesus Moreira has double heart attack and is fighting for his life. Italy, 27-year-old cycling champion Gianni Moscon had to undergo an operation because of severe cardiac arrhythmia. Augsburg, referee of Kreisliga Augsburg game and Emmer Soccer collapses with heart problems. English lineswoman Helen Byrne, heart problems, has to be carried off the pitch at World Cup. Germany game abandoned due to cardiac arrest of a referee in a game of Labor SV. Italy, 20-year-old young rider suffers a heart attack. 17-year-old soccer player of JSG High Hagen was revived during a game. 53-year-old football coach Antonello Campus died. 16-year-old collapses while playing soccer and dies a little later. Germany team leader Dietmar Gladel suffers fatal heart attack before the game. USA, high school football player, we're almost there, collapsed during the practice and died in the hospital. Germany player collapsed during the A2 Regional League game, suffered cardiac arrest. Germany, 15-year-old goalkeeper Bruno Stein dead. Italy, 53 years old AH footballer suffers a heart attack while training. USA, 14-year-old soccer player Ava, as a party collapsed on the pitch, is fighting for her life in artificial coma induced. France, 54-year-old AH player Christophe Ramassami died of a heart attack during a match. France, 41-year-old soccer player collapsed on the field and died due to cardiac arrest. Austria, 26-year-old Rafael Duamena collapsed with severe heart problems. Germany, Hertha Berlin, this is the one of the top teams in the German league. Co-trainer Selim Levent died suddenly and unexpectedly. I gotta look this up actually. USA, 12-year-old Jason Kidd collapsed during basketball practice. I guess he was named after Jason Kidd, the pro player, and later died. Spain, 33-year-old striker Kun Aguero. This is Maradona's son-in-law, one of the top strikers in the world. Sergio Aguero, Kun is his nickname, had to be replaced in the game due to heart problems in Barcelona. USA, 21-year-old senior student athlete John Stokes suffers myocarditis. 22-year-old cyclist Greg Lewison forced to end his career after jab due to heart problems. No words, man.
I mean, that's just in a couple of months.
That's a friend of mine. A friend of mine. You probably remember. A friend of ours said, something happened, and it would have otherwise happened without whatever it is, without the thing. And I said to him, man, I'm obsessed with sports. I've been watching sports my whole life. Okay, I've seen people plutzing, whether it's in practice or on the field. You hear stories of these big guys, and it's like it's hot, and they're practicing in the NFL. Practice. And
maybe once a year, twice a year.
Once in a while, a guy, whatever it is. You've never seen this many people, and I'm sure it's more than this list that we just reeled off.
It's way more.
It's way more in a 4-month or 5-month span. It's just not possible. So
This sounds like a list of the history of recorded sports.
Yeah. The whole list of all everything that happened ever. And the thing is, what's interesting to me is that, I guess it implies that if you take this stuff, and the stuff already gives you people a proclivity for heart issues, if you're like these guys and you're working your heart, it aggravates whatever's going on in there. Is that accurate? Do you know what I'm saying?
Hey man, all I can tell you, every day above ground is a good day. That's all I can tell you. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's astounding, man. Listen, I'm not a professional athlete, but I've been an athlete all my life. I've been watching sports all my life. I've never, as I tell people, don't try to hang. In Russian we say don't try to hang noodles on my ears. Don't try to pull a fast one on me, because you won't.
Yeah, because when someone says, there was a pre-existing condition and it exacerbates it.
Get the out of here.
Technically, hypothetically, but not really. No.
These are top people. These people are working their resting heart rate is faster than some of our active heart rates of normal people. These people's resting heart rate.
You mean slower?
Listen,
the other way around. The lower the heart rate, the better.
The lower, I'm sorry, slower, yeah. So I call BS. I'm sorry. So whoever says these guys would have gotten it anyway, whatever it is, and blah blah blah, you don't know the cause. I mean, seriously, like either people are either in denial, or I don't know, or they're just like major league buttholes. I don't know.
Yeah, man. No, so, it's like so disturbing.
So now here's the question: why is not one of these athletes, whether they are a top athlete and they have a lot to lose, millions of dollars, whatever it is, or they're a mid-level athlete, or even like one of these amateur athletes coming out in the media, or somewhere, like I bet you if like one of these, the Aguero guy or Kingsley Coleman guy came out and said, they're probably being coached, they're probably being told like, keep this quiet, man. What, you want to take down the whole Spanish league? You want to take down the whole German league? You want to take down the whole European soccer with this? You're one of the top players over here. But what if one of these guys comes out, like a Zidane level guy, a Maradona level guy, and says, guys, the jig is up. Yes, there's a big problem. My doctor told me, my doctor was one of the top doctors in the advising athletes here in Europe, told me, yes, this is the issue, and we have to be straight with people. What if one of these guys comes out? What do you think is going to happen to him?
They're going to wind up dead. In Europe, it's much easier to do that than in the States.
Yeah.
Because that's more normal. They're like, we'll just kill you and your family. What are you, crazy? Yeah. And they'll be like, okay, that's expected.
Because these guys come from nothing. They come from the suburbs of Paris. They don't want to go back.
They don't have the American spirit.
Yeah. These guys want to keep their cash. They'd rather keep their. This Aguero guy, he'd rather stay alive and be retired at age 33 and sit. He has a podcast, sit and play video games with his friend, and collect his $10 million a year. What's left on his contract?
Most people are like, listen, they're gonna do this anyway. Why should, if I have a chance to make it, why should I?
Yeah, it's a small price to pay. I guess they say.
They're all couples, basically.
Yeah.
Not exactly a perfect metaphor, but pretty close.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like there has to be at least one guy in that entire place. Or maybe it'll happen to an American guy, here in MLS. But the thing is, MLS, the soccer, what is it called? Or just, any sport, really. Hockey. I'm surprised in hockey that hasn't happened. These guys are cranking like crazy. And they're all supposedly smacked. And these guys are skating up and down the rink. And I'm shocked that one of them didn't just plots on the ice. That's for sure. And I think if it happens...
Yeah, man, they screwed up. I mean, they weren't supposed to... I think some of these high-profile people, like these, they weren't supposed to get these shots.
Yeah.
They're supposed to get placebo.
Yeah, they're supposed to get saline. I think a lot of these guys here got saline. The NBA guys, NHL guys. the guys like LeBron probably got sailing for sure.
Okay, I mean they're not going to risk
Yeah.
like the public figures just kind of like collapsing and stuff like that. So another issue is this whole like spike protein thing, which I'm not exactly too sure about. The only thing I really heard about it that seems to be connected to actual data that my brother saw was that a schmacked person within the first 3 months shouldn't a pregnant woman shouldn't be anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some kind of effect. So it's possible that some of these high-profile figures got the wrong thing. Okay, they screwed up, or they're getting affected by the schmoteens. I already said it, but I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
Okay. I am drunk.
As we speak, I'm debating whether or not.
I keep drinking scotch.
As we speak, I'm debating whether or not to post this entire episode on YouTube or not because I don't want to get. You know what I'm saying?
You wanna bleep out the bleepity bleeps?
The bleep. I might just post.
I mean, maybe we got like 1 or 2 screw ups.
Yeah. But sometimes they catch it. Who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I keep drinking scotch, man. I'm gonna end up talking like Tony. I'm gonna end up talking like Tony the whole night.
Yeah. Don't F me, Tony. Remember, Tony.
Sanitation.
Can I play this? Can I play this scene?
I told you to tell him you was in sanitarium, not sanitation.
Can I play this scene when he visits that Sosa guy? I just want to play. This is the scene I think of every time whatever. Somebody I know keeps walking around and saying the only solution to deal with leftists is Pinochet. Like Augusto Pinochet. So here.
I feel like I'm spending way too much time on those problems.
This is crazy. Okay.
Understand, Tony?
Can you hear it?
You got everything a man could want. I like you, Tony. There's no lying in you.
There's no lying in you.
Unfortunately, I do not feel the same about the rest
I
of
like his shirt. It's like quasi see-through, like Night at the Roxbury situation.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean
the
by
Sosa
that?
guy.
Talking about Omar Suarez.
Omar Suarez.
His garbage was recognized by my associate in London.
Yeah,
several years ago in New York. He was an informer for the police. Put Tito Duval and the Ramos brothers, Nello and Gino, away for life. So how do I know you're not
just like it flies away with him.
Hey,
Sosa.
Let's get this straight.
I
never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have a comment.
Didn't have a comment.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no one. Do you understand? That piece of shit up there, I never liked him. I never trusted him. For all I know, he had me set up and had my friend Angel Fernandez killed. But that's history. I hear he's not. Do you want to go on with me?
I hear
he's Go on. I think you speak from the heart, Montana. I say to myself, is Lopez your boss? Yet Chivatos like that working for him. Judgment stinks. So I think to myself, how many other mistakes has the Lopez guy made? How can I trust this organization? You tell me, Tony. Frank is smart. No? Can't blame him for that at all. It's a crazy business for him. Not gonna happen to anyone.
Not gonna happen to anyone.
Why don't I go back and talk to Frank? And work it out. I fix things between us. I have my word on it. this thing out. We do business together a long time. Just remember, I only tell you one time. Don't fuck me, Tony. Don't you ever try to fuck me.
I was expecting him to say, "Don't worry, I'm not gay." This is like,
Hey man, the only thing in this world that gives orders is balls.
that actor, this Sosa guy, did not appear anywhere else. He looks like just a Spanish soap opera guy. You know?
Maybe he was a real dude.
Maybe he was like a real, what's it called? A real drug dealer who just like they you know.
Yeah, man. I got ears, you know. I hear things.
You know, the funny part is, I always wonder, how did Al Pacino keep that face, that downward grin for the entire movie?
He went to Miami, and he hung out. He watched these guys.
No, but he just kept but like to actually, his face didn't hurt. He just like kept the grin the entire damn movie. It's crazy.
I mean, he kind of has that grin, you know.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, he probably was hanging out in Miami, and he probably heard some Cuban guy say, "A killer coming is for fun. For a green card, I'm gonna carve him up real nice."
Yeah. The guy who played Sosa, Paul Shenar, American actor and theater director.
Shenar, really? Oh boy.
I don't know if he's Jewish. He's from Wisconsin. He was of Polish and Slovenian descent. Yeah, I guess they figured that he would be like a good rich white South American, you know? He could pass for one of these like, high caste. Oh, there you go. Shenar was gay and romantically involved with British actor Jeremy Brett.
Oh no, that's Jeremy Brett? That's Sherlock Holmes, man.
Really? He died from AIDS.
Damn.
Wow. So there you go. Don't F me, Tony. He really meant that stuff.
Hey, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie.
That's what I want to hear. See, this scene is the epitome of Trump.
Who's Trump? Is it Sosa?
No, this scene that I want to play, that Tony's in the restaurant.
I have Nick the pig as a friend. What kind of life is that?
Come on.
Can't you see? What we're becoming to? We're losers. We're not winners, we're losers.
Go on, you stoned.
I'm not stoned. You're stoned.
I'm not stoned.
No.
Come on.
I'm not going home with you. I'm not going home with anybody. We're not
Hey man, you gonna play the whole scene?
No, here, I just want to play just the part where it's like a 50 seconds.
They did it, man. The folks at home, they don't have that time.
What?
The folks at home ain't got time for this.
Just give me a second. Yeah, so it's 50 seconds.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, here. There you go.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
That's okay.
So, what I make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide. How to lie.
How to lie.
Me,
Me?
I don't have that problem.
I don't have that part.
Me, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie.
Wow.
Okay, here's the story. I come from the gutter. I know that. I got no education, but that's okay.
You're muffled. I can't hear you so well.
I was trying to repeat Tony's big speech, you know. He's like, okay, here's the story.
Yeah.
I come from the gutter.
Yeah.
I know that. I got no education, but that's okay. I know the street, and I'll make it all the right connections. With the right woman, there's no stopping me. I can go right to the top.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy movie. Very extreme. But yeah, man, I don't think Trump can be compared to Montana. Trump is he's way,
He's a whole different animal.
He wouldn't end up like Tony. You know?
Yeah.
Tony was out of control. Trump doesn't really lose control.
Yeah.
Tony, he'll stick his face in a whole mountain of coke. Yeah. Trump never even drinks.
He would say, "Say hello to my little friend."
Yeah.
Trump seems like he's out of control, but he's controlled chaos.
That's right. That's right. Which further connects him to Asa.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like if we could ask the question, what would Asaph look like today? That's Trump, man. The red hair, the red skin.
Can you really say that? Because if you recall, he was twin brothers with our father Yaakov, and they looked alike. Remember, Husham ben, right? Who killed Asa? Husham ben Dan, right?
Yeah, and Asaph's head is in
no, but Hebron. Before that happened,
yeah.
Husham he couldn't hit Asa from the front because he looked too much like Yaakov. So he had to go from the back because he couldn't. He looked just like Yaakov.
Is that why Amalek does the same thing? Is that related to that?
What do you mean?
Amalek attacks the back of the group. It hits from the back.
Well, they attack the stragglers.
The straggler, but it's usually like the weak points, but like the back.
So basically the weak. I asked about this, and the stragglers are, we picture stragglers as like the guys who are lagging behind who can't keep up with the rest, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't the physical stragglers that got attacked; it was the spiritual stragglers. Mm-hmm. So they could have been big, strong guys all the way up front. Yeah. But if they were spiritually weak and they were lacking, those were the ones vulnerable to Amalek.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So it's not like the women and children and the whatever it is.
It was the spiritually weak, the ones who were most lacking in their morals.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So basically,
so we look at it today. I mean, it seems like. So what you want to say is like the people who are now kind of have become the people who were convinced to take the
could be looked at that way. It wouldn't be the worst comparison I ever heard.
Yeah.
Speaking to all the people that I speak to, even though it's been like a month and a half since I've been really. I probably talked to significantly less people now because my brother stepped away from doing consultations while he's getting treated, right? So I still get 80 phone calls. Before it was 150, right? But it's still 30 to 40 of them are still schmickdums.
I remember I was in the car with you and just every so often, phone call. This doesn't end. And then you told me that you have
it's happening right now.
You have like an intuition for the severity of the call before you even pick it up.
I do, and I'm rarely wrong, and I don't know what it is. It's just like already, it's already into the collective unconscious somehow.
Yeah, it's in the neshama.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's I noticed something during those phone calls. Almost a year now, right?
Yeah. You're very quiet, muffled.
You know what I noticed? What? That sometimes, like when I'm listening to the recordings of these conversations, because my wife is listening to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you say I'm muffled, you could actually hear me pretty well, like on the recording. It's just the way it sounds to you.
I guess so. Maybe it's my phone.
I don't know if that's always the case, but definitely sometimes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now I hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'm speaking directly into the thing. Okay, so from the conversations that I've had for at least the last year, right? Like almost, it's not even a year yet with the Shmeed.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say, I don't know if I said this already, but there's generally two types of people.
Mhm.
You can classify them. The ones who believe their paycheck comes from God.
Yeah.
And those people will mostly not take the shmak shmeen.
Yeah.
The people who believe that their paycheck comes from their institution,
Yeah.
from the job,
Yeah.
will take the shmak shmeen.
Yeah.
So you could call that stragglers.
Yeah, I know, I've noticed that. And if you tell people that, they say, well, it's easy for you to say, you don't have you work from home or whatever, you have a home business. Listen, I know people that lost their jobs, lucrative jobs. Like,
It goes back. It goes back to the same thing. You're like, look, if people don't understand that this is a pretty correct comparison.
Yeah.
The following.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody says, listen, you can continue working, but I'm going to shoot you through the head.
Yeah.
And the bullet is going to kind of travel really, really slow, burrowing its way through your head. Once it gets to a certain point, it's going to kill you. But in the meantime, you can work.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good deal.
It's out of control, man. It's just simply out of control. There's no words for that. No words for that. So here's a question. It's actually relevant to what Yud Tes Kislev is all about. I'm assuming the story is related to Yud Tes Kislev which Rebbe was this? When he was in prison and speaking of guns to the head.
This is the Frierdiker
Rebbe. They
Rebbe.
put a gun to his head.
Yeah.
The Russian guards, and he says, "I'm not scared of your little pistol. Why? Because you have one life in many gods, and I have
one world,
and I have one God and many worlds."
And right.
So I feel like the Jewish people have strayed from this approach. We used to do stuff, even whether in Russia or Iraq or wherever we were, with a Mesiras Nefesh, and you could say, well, it's only the tzaddikim that are on that level, whatever it is, blah blah blah. But listen, that's the whole point of this whole thing.
Actually, you bring up, when you say the word point, you bring up an important point. It's called the pintele yid, which means, the point, right? Literally.
Yeah.
The pintele is the Yiddish term. It means like the very essence, the very, very, very essence of the Jewish soul. And you have a phenomenon that has been seen throughout history, which is generally ignored and glossed over, but it always manifests, unfortunately, in the most extreme cases, where you have like Pizzazz like Mitya from Brighton Beach Avenue, right?
Oh, that's funny.
Jewish guy, right? He's a Russian Jewish guy. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what Shabbos is. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys. There was a time I didn't know what Shabbos was.
I knew what it was. I always saw Jews walking in Fairlawn, but I just was like, okay, that's them. This is me. So
okay, but I'm talking about someone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay? Some guy, and he always makes whenever you talk about something religious or orthodox, he always has a kind of like a flippant comment to make, or some kind of I know those guys. Pisate, they're all crooks and all that kind of stuff.
Even women are pisate.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's always been characters like this throughout Jewish history, scoffers, right?
Yep.
But then when they are tied up, and asked, do you accept Jesus, right?
Or Muhammad.
They die instead of doing that.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, the Pintele Yid reveals itself. Okay, that's the yechida of the soul. Okay, so this is a phenomenon which is common throughout the Jewish people, throughout every generation.
Yeah.
When it doesn't make any sense, like why? You never even heard of a yeshiva. You don't know what Shabbos is. And why is it so important to you? They don't know why it's so important, but they just cannot stand the idea of disconnecting from their true identity.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, they'd rather die. Now, this not happen. I'm not saying it happens every single time.
Did you ever see the movie Everything's Illuminated?
Sure.
You probably remember the scene where they find, the woman that lives in this town, and she's the only woman left.
Yeah.
And she was like talking about how basically they wanted him, they wanted to like kill some guy or whatever it is. And here, I don't play this scene. I have to find it.
Don't find it. Just explain it. Explain it, man. People don't want to hear this thing. They
that
want to hear you.
They want to shoot him, and they're like, you gotta, renounce this Torah or whatever it is. And he said, or you know what? Better yet, I'm gonna play for you something more kind of palatable. Gene Wilder. There you go. Frisco Kid. Remember this scene, right?
I love it.
Okay. Here we go.
You came for this. Yes. I have read this book. Did not understand one word. What do you call this book? Torah.
Oh.
The Torah.
His tongue almost ripped out of his mouth.
Good. Would you trade your horse for Torah? Yes. The horse and your boots? Yes. And your clothes?
Oh.
Yes. And everything else you own? Yes, everything. Even your knife. I have no knife. You have no knife.
It's the only time I cried during a comedy movie. You know what I'm saying?
If I give you back Torah, will you purify your soul through fire?
That's like straight out of Gemara or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, I never thought I actually would have to do that in life. I heard it from Tzaddikim.
Yes.
Actually, no. He comes from a time when he might have seen it a few times himself.
Well, maybe. Recording. Sorry, recording.
May I keep the Torah?
I'm recording something.
No!
I'm sorry, I'm recording something live. It's live. I'm sorry. That's it. Testing him.
Rabbi with no knife. You're a brave man. And you, who speak to Indians as if to little children. Your heart is big. Not as big as your mouth. But you have good feelings inside.
Little did we know that Harrison Ford, also a Jew.
Yeah, he's a Lifshitz. I think we're related. They used to call my father looked like Harrison Ford. There, Harrison Ford. Not Harris Ford. Harrison Ford. Goodness. Family background. Harrison Ford. Dorothy Needleman, an advertising executive. Okay, blah blah blah. Ashkenazi Jew. There was something there with like. Here.
His father's Irish, I think.
Yeah, but there's something with the last name Lifshitz there. Yeah, there you go. No flip. I don't know. I heard something that like he's like part of a Lifshitz clan or something like that.
All right, man, we gotta liven up.
Anyway,
I'm drinking and drinking.
So how does this pan out? How can we get people to How can people not? How do we get people? How do people get to that place? How will people get to that place? That we just
place of unity, the place of overcoming.
Not just unity. People, how do modern Orthodox people realize that? Hey, maybe you should quit your damn job. You know.
Listen.
To make a Kiddush Hashem, so to speak.
Listen. All they have to do is ask for Mashiach. Okay. Let's just cut through the shnikes. Okay. All you have to do. They're not asking for Mashiach.
Yeah.
Listen to me. All the Lubavitcher Rebbe wanted people to do is, in their heart, talk to Hashem in your prayers, in a moment just where it's just you and God. No big public, gestures or spectacles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people did that?
Or as we say in Russian, spectacle.
Yeah. No spectacles.
Yeah.
No spectacles. Okay.
How many people did that?
Just a literal thing where the yeshiva guys, right, from Lakewood, from Chaim Berlin, from Flatbush, from all over the place, okay, Upper West Side, Washington Heights, were they trained to understand that the whole point is Mashiach? The whole point is to bring Mashiach. Everything that we do is to get that guy to show up.
Yeah.
Okay? Nothing they do, nothing else matters at all. Everything is just chaff compared to the main point. Okay? It's dross. All right? Everything besides getting Mashiach to show up is garbage.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the whole point of Mashiach is he's going to help us prepare the world, finally, because God wants to show us what he wanted to show Adam, okay, that first Shabbat, that he never got a chance to show. Okay? Everything else is just nothing, meaningless. Your business, your achievements, your learning, your recognition, going through Shas, all this bullshit.
Pompous, ego-driven.
Whatever it is,
crap.
Yeah, tzedakah, blah, 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 all this crap. Nothing else, okay? This whole story that we're in right now is about God. God is the main character, okay? If this were Sex in the City, God would be Carrie, okay? I'm trying to get people to understand what I'm talking about here.
So here's my question, man.
Well, hold on. Okay. I'm still on my rant. I'm mid-rant. Okay, maybe 3/4 done with the rant. I'll speed it up. Okay. Are these Bachrim taught by the rabbis that the most important thing is to bring Mashiach? And do you have a personal relationship with the Creator? And in the course of that relationship, did you ask the Creator to please bring Mashiach and please end this? It seems like a simple idea, doesn't it? Right? It seems simple, right? It seems like pretty straight. It seems like it should be not such a controversial idea. And yet it's almost the most controversial, it seems. Right? In Judaism, we read the 13 Principles of Faith, right?
Because we had these episodes of near misses, and we it's kind of like what I was talking to my friend today about, my whole dating life. It's like, how many times can you have meet somebody and you think it's like this could be something, and then it's just this you're crestfallen, and it's like
you're right,
disappointment. How long can you do this for?
Dude, you're right. It's God's fault. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, people just lose hope. People just like, you know what? Screw this. When he comes, he comes. That's what people say. They do believe. They just like, when he comes, he comes. Let's just live our lives.
No,
meanwhile,
but hold on. Let's be a little fair to God for a moment, okay?
Yeah.
If you are a being, let's say, that has experienced all of history, and you've seen everything that everybody's gone through, not just from you learn about some kind of history thing or whatever. Oh, this happened, a couple of generations ago. Let's say you experienced all, right? Then perhaps, you might have like a point where you could go ahead and blame God. But these kids in America, I don't know if that really qualifies. Like they don't know about what happened in Europe.
They don't know, but it's ingrained in their families, in the landus,
it's ingrained in
the communities, in their grandparents who were rebbes, and their great grandparents. It's ingrained. It's already mentality. They don't know anything. Yeah, you're right. But it's passed down. This dryness is passed down. You understand? The fear,
perhaps.
The fear and the dude, you and I, we don't have that. That actually, Dafka, trauma we don't have. You people like you and I, we come to this from a fresh perspective, more or less, where we can yell from the mountaintops, Mashiach, Mashiach, come, whatever.
Dude, I mean, it's not like
these people
got spared the trauma.
I know, but these people are spooked, man. They come from yichus of like people who went through Shabtai Tzvi. You understand? They're spooked to death. They watched the guy. Their relatives watched the guy convert to Islam under the Ottoman Empire after thinking that he's Mashiach. Like, and then after that, what's his name came out with a book, and they chased him all over Europe as a result of this previous thing. Ramchal, and which is now a book that's a staple in every yeshiva. But at the time that he came out with it, he was chased all over Italy and all over Europe. So go figure. Think about that.
Died dead at 40.
Yeah, not 40, 37, 38.
No, that was the Ari.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, we speak about these things like people, not just us. We speak about stuff nonchalantly about, Mesidat Yesharim and this and that. Like, these people, like, this was not a fun time for them. Writing these books and hoping that they wouldn't be, like, flayed alive by their own people.
I wouldn't say flayed alive.
But say chased out of, excommunicated from the Jewish people. Figuratively, flayed alive.
Yeah.
And now it's like we daven from the Ari Siddur, and we learn the Ramchal, and we listen to Rabbi Kessin learning about Ramchal. Wonderful. Dude, this came right after Shabtai Tzvi. Like, not a good look.
And don't forget about that scumbag Jacob Frank.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he showed him Podonic.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, like, these kids don't really, I had a guy, I told you, a guy who was a teacher at a modern Orthodox school, saw one of my videos about Mashiach and Shmovid, messages me, modern Orthodox guy here, northeast part of the States. He's like, I feel like I'm drowning here in the school. Nobody cares about any Hasidus. Nobody cares about Ruchnius. Everybody's a lefty. I go home, everybody's a lefty, his family. And there are people who are starving for things, who see that there's something wrong, that there's a malfunction. It's a few people. Maybe it's more. Maybe some people are just afraid to speak up. Who knows?
Listen, you're right. Okay, these people. I was just trying to find something to. But this is really just this is all God.
Yeah.
It's His fault.
Yeah.
and it is.
Yeah, true.
And so we're asking that God come and take us out of this. We've had enough.
Yeah.
We want it to end. It's not interesting at all. It's tragic and it's mostly boring.
Yeah.
So I think that like on Rosh Hashanah, since this is a form of Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
On Rosh Hashanah, what do? We crown God King. That's God's coronation day. Okay? And we say, God, listen, we don't know what we're doing. And let's see what you had in mind. This is your project to begin with. We tried it out on our own. Not working out great. Let's give you a shot. Let's see how things look when you take the reins. Right? If you think about it, it's probably the most qualified take the reins would be God, right? It was his project. He keeps everything going. He creates everything every second out of nothing, right? That's true. Probably be a good idea to let him take over. Remember that? Remember the martial I created about the nightclub?
Yeah.
How God created, like, he created this awesome, like, the most, like, just coolest atmosphere, like, club ever, right? I described it as, like, several, like, DJ, like, decks, you know? And there's bubbles, right? There's screens. There's a light up dance floor. There's like the cages for the dancing girls, right? And like the little bird cages and the whole shebang. Okay, off the hook, right? And then he's like, let me show you around. Let me show you how cool everything is. You guys just kind of help me out. Let's finish it off. And for opening night. Okay.
Yeah.
So so what do? We're like, you know what, God, would you mind like giving us a minute? But we're going to be here. Would you mind going out the door for a minute? We just need a couple of moments of like private time. In fact, would you mind giving us some time? We need to acclimate ourselves in here and get. And then God's like, but hold on. I mean, I created this so we can all hang out together. Like there's so much that I wanted to show you. Like, we'll figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
Just go stand outside if you don't mind. You're like, God's like, I can't even hang out with you guys. Like, what if I sit all the way over there? I'll just leave you alone. No, it'd be better. We'd feel more comfortable if you were on the other side of the door. Yeah. So Rosh Hashanah is the day where we're like, all right, God, maybe we perhaps we didn't make the right decision. Maybe we should have kind of let you finish explaining to us what everything is here. We didn't know how to work it. We started playing with the turntable and started turning. We didn't realize you got to put the record on, and then music comes out. We just thought that the spinning thing was cool. Yeah. So
the techniques, which now goes for $3,000 or $5,000. It used to be $300.
What about the Geminis? They were always cheaper.
Yeah, but the techniques are. I mean, they were more expensive, but now they're a collector's item and they're 10 times more expensive than they were.
Yeah.
It's out of control. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I think that's what we got to do. Somehow we got to just say, all right, God, why don't you come over and explain to us what this is all about? I'm very curious to see what you had in mind. So let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like,
yep.
It's different. Nobody really knows what. Like, think about like Jewish people, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a Norm Macdonald joke. He's like something about. He goes, this year all Jews around the world will be celebrating Yom Kippur, or as we call it, Wednesday. Right?
Yeah.
So the problem is that most Jews feel like it's a Wednesday too.
Yeah.
Like, Jews show up to Yom Kippur and they feel the pull. They feel it in their conscience. They feel it internally.
Yeah.
But they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They don't know what Rosh Hashanah is. Even like religious Jews, they're like, like we know it's really high. It's a high holiday.
Yeah.
What is it really? Oh yeah, it's Adam's birthday. Okay, so why is that important? I don't know. It's Adam's birthday. It's a big deal. It's a big birthday party. Like, ask somebody. Like, just ask somebody. Like, what is it? What are we doing here? Why is this so important?
Yeah.
So what it comes down to is we have to choose God. We have to crown God king. He wants us to elect him king. That's what it is. Okay? Put the crown on God and then let him lead and show what he had in mind in the first place. Okay? People running the show sucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it sucks. Okay? The whole thing about what's going on right now with these schmack schmucks, right? Yeah. The Sitra Achra, that's all about people running the show. Yeah. They want to keep the people want to keep running. There's people who want to keep running the show.
Reputable institutions, trust the this, trust the that, trust.
That's the essence of a mullik, by the way. Okay, a mullik doesn't deny God's existence.
So here's my question, man. How do you explain then people who are Torah believing and people who even wait for Mashiach every day these are the same people that will go and they will say Hallel and or Shechianu when they heard that we got this stuff. How do you
because they
explain
were
this?
because they were deeply betrayed. That's why. Okay, Greg. They're not all idol worshippers.
Yeah.
Most people were just deeply
misled.
betrayed. What'd you say?
No, they were misled.
Misled is an understatement.
Yeah.
Okay, they were misled by their crappy leadership, by their non-rabbis. Okay, they were misled and they were betrayed by the lack of true rabbanim. They were misled. They were betrayed
by something funny, man. I have a friend who keeps calling whatever her father was in the hospital, whatever it is, and she says that I keep calling rabbis doctor, like doctor. It's a rabbi. She'll call him doctor, and I keep calling doctors rabbi. And she's like, I don't know why I do that. I go, I know why you do that because people go, and she's not for this stuff, right? But I said that people go to rabbis to get medical advice. So you have it in your consciousness that a rabbi is a doctor and a doctor is a rabbi.
You know, there are some rabbis.
There are, yeah, Dr. Rabbi.
That you not even. There are rabbis who have true Ruach HaKodesh, and they just get the information that they need. Like the famous one is there's a lot of cases like this, but the famous one is the Chazon Ish, right? You heard the story?
Yeah.
The person who needed a very complicated surgery,
yeah.
and they weren't sure how to go about it, and somehow the Chazon Ish, through Ruach HaKodesh, he was able to communicate to the doctor, to the surgeon, the pathway to get to that area, to that very difficult area of the body where something needs to be extracted. It was a very complicated surgery.
Yeah.
There's something that needs to be removed. It was in a very, very, very sensitive and deep and complex area, and the Chazon Ish told him how to get in there. That can happen. But how often? Not often. Right? And people seem to think it just happens every day. It doesn't. It happens once in a while with somebody like the Chazon Ish.
Yeah.
We haven't had a Chazon Ish in a long time.
They think that that's, like you said, it's like the example that they use, and therefore their personal Rebbe has Das Torah or whatever he has. Let
me tell you something.
They ain't got shiznit.
Let me tell you something. Your Rebbe is not the Chazon Ish.
I know he's not, and he knows that actually. That's why
I'm not saying your Rebbe.
That's why
he didn't tell
me. He didn't tell me to take whatever.
I'm not talking about your Rebbe.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
anybody's. Yeah. But mine for sure would tell me not to. That's for sure. I could tell you that much. And I think he is tapped in like on that level, because I've seen some stuff from him, or rather I've heard some stuff from him, stuff that is advice that he's given me, or just advice he's given me based on things that incomplete information that I didn't fill in the gaps for him, and he filled in the gaps for himself. And I was like, and this is a guy who's like a little bit older than me, also about tshuva. You know? And I was just like, and you know where he gets that from? How he developed that? His bodedus, like crazy.
Listen.
You know, he goes in the forest. He's a Breslov guy. He goes in the forest. He's been doing this for years. And just, he talks.
Let's say l'chaim to that.
L'chaim.
So l'chaim. By the way, folks, this is a farbrengen. I don't know if you've heard of that term before.
Yeah, farbrengen right now.
Farbrengen is a Yiddish word, and it's explained that it means gathering of souls. It's a Hasidic gathering, and it's not exactly a conventional farbrengen, because farbrengen has a lot of singing. Okay, somebody tells a story, a Hasidic Rebbe, some kind of something very, very profound, and then they sing something called a nigun. Nigun.
Yeah.
It's a song, but there's no words. It's a hymn. Okay, it's considered much higher spiritually than a word with songs, than a song with words.
I'm sorry. Just give me like 5 minutes.
You gotta go, guy.
I'm just recording live. I'm live on the feed. Sorry about that, man.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
Don't apologize about that. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear.
Thank God, man.
Chaim. Let's say Chaim to your dad.
Chaim.
So that he may interrupt you for another 120 years. Chaim.
Anyway.
Can I tell my New Orleans story?
Quick, yeah, we have about 7 minutes to do that.
7 minutes is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in New Orleans first couple of weeks. Mad shady looking area, kind of scary. We're not really even set up in a place. We have not made contact with the Chabad. Okay, so we don't know anybody. And then it comes time to do laundry. So we find a laundromat a couple of blocks away from the house. And it's packed. It's crazy. So, yeah, we'll come back later. So we come back towards the evening, and the street is completely abandoned, and it's kind of freaky. It's dark, it's freaky. And then we get in there, and then we put our stuff inside, you know, the washing machine, and then this laundromat. When you go outside, they have tables and chairs, so you can kind of just hang out. And there's somebody sitting there, and kind of like startled us. And there's no one else around. Yeah. So we sat down and we started kind of like talking to each other. And then it's like a dude who kind of looks like a hipster, you know, kind of like a white dude, hipster with, you know, he has a beard, but that's pretty common. Yeah. And what's funny is that on that street, there's a restaurant, which is closed recently, and it's called Waffles on Maple. The street that we're on is called Maple Street.
I used to live on Maple in Crown Heights. Go on.
Waffles on Maple. Maple's a nice word. Okay? And this is the only kind of kosher place in that whole, like all of Uptown, right? Like the only true kosher restaurant was in a different part of the city entirely. It wasn't even New Orleans proper. It was Metairie. Anyway. Also closed down, by the way, recently. So we're sitting there, and we see this kind of hipster-looking dude. You know what I mean? And he, you know, kind of anybody who you don't know looks kind of shady, especially in a shady city that you don't know. Yeah. In the evening on a street where nobody else is around. Yeah. Okay. So I'm on high alert in general. My wife is there, and then he starts like talking to us all of a sudden, right? So I tried to kind of ignore him at first, pretend like I didn't realize he was talking to me, like. You know, like I came up with the excuse in my mind, like, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking on the phone.
You talking to me? Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me. I thought you were on the phone or something like that. My bad. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I was hoping he wouldn't engage. Yeah. So anyway, he just kept saying stuff. I was like, yeah, you know, he kind of like pulled me into the conversation. Yeah. Anyway, so we don't know anybody in the city. We haven't spoken to any of our neighbors. We don't literally. It's 2 weeks already. We still don't know anybody, right? Yeah. So the first person that actually engages in a conversation is this hipster-looking guy, and turns out to be he's a Jewish guy named Noach.
Interesting.
Okay, and this is unbelievable because he was passing through. He wasn't even from New Orleans. He's from California. And he was just doing a road trip. He's just one of these kind of like free spirits, you know? Yeah.
Drifter.
Okay? Yeah, he went to his friend's. Yeah, he went to a friend's wedding and this and that. And then we start farbrengen. Okay? I don't know how like from he is, okay? But he's very connected. Okay? And he starts telling me, we start like trading, you know, like we start playing like Hasidic tennis, you know, like, oh yeah, you know about this, oh yeah, you know about that. It was unbelievable. And then my jaw was dropping, right? And they told me the story that I didn't know, I never heard before, from Rabbi Nachman. Yeah. Rabbi, there was the story of the 7 beggars. Have you ever heard it?
Could be.
Story of the 7 beggars.
To hear this, well, we have about 3 minutes. So, you know.
People should look up, could even Google it, the story of the 7 beggars. So he told me all about the story. It was unbelievable. Really cool. And we were farbrengen. And he had in his car, he's like, yo, we got it farbrengen. I'm like, yes, man. He's like, come, I got in my car. He goes, you smoke? I'm like, nah, not really. You know what I mean by smoke. And he's like, yo, man, you like scotch? I'm like, yeah. I'm crazy about scotch. I was like, what do you got? He goes, Glenmorangie. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Yeah. He goes, yeah, man, I went to a wedding. I got these these little bottles. Yeah. Also, I got this giant bottle of Glenmorangie. Yeah. Like, I don't have room for it in my car. My car is packed. You want it? I'm like, That's the bottle I'm drinking right now.
Wow.
So listen to this. We haven't met anybody. We haven't made contact with the Jewish community. Okay, we're on a unfamiliar street.
Mm-hmm.
We're nervous. We don't know anybody, and the first person that we meet is a Jewish guy who farbrengs with me. What are the odds of that? And he's not even a local. He's just passing through. He didn't even know that there's a kosher restaurant right on the same street. He didn't know. I thought maybe he heard about it and he stopped to get a bite to eat. Right? And then when it closed, he decided, I'm going to do some, he's going to do some laundry. Yeah. He didn't even know where he was. He didn't know where he was. I didn't know where I was. He didn't know where he was. Somehow,
that's the point.
God organized that.
And that's the point. Brother, that's actually amazing. I'm not cutting you off because I don't want to hear more, but I'm cutting you off because we have a technological hard stop. And, but there's more stories where that came from. And we're in the next episode, we're going to tell it. By the way, I think this is episode 19, which is kind of crazy.
What? I think. Oh my God, you're right, dude. It is.
It is, yeah. Well, we'll end off on that.
Dude, you gotta upload the other episodes. I just realized today. Remember, like episodes like 2 through 7.
Oh yeah, they're somewhere on Rumble. I'll get them.
They're also on the other YouTube.
Yeah.
Those are good too.
Yeah. All right, sir. We got like 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Okay,
man. You mess with me, you mess with the best.
Good Yontif. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And
yes. And I am drunk, and I hope I didn't make fool out of myself.
No. And I apologize. We had some interruptions here, but Baruch Hashem.
Time will tell.
Yeah. All right. Good Yontif, and we'll talk soon.
Folks at home, have a good night.
Later.
Denise and Alexander, take care.
Peace. Later.